You know what's interesting? Every time I read or hear people talk about the generation gap, I wonder if we are dividing people up by an artificial division. And I think that what's more important to look at how millennials deal with hybrid work versus baby boomers? Or is it more important to identify that there are different groups of people, some of whom will be boomers, some of whom will be millennials, some will be Gen Xers, who prefer to be treated this way, who prefer to work this way, who prefer to get feedback this way? And the idea that entire generations of people are homogenous, and so that younger people all think this way and older people all think this way. I think the key is to figure out what the individual values of are the people who work for you and work with you, and then try to create environments where those values are honored and respected. And autonomy might mean that the person wants to work remotely or wants to work hybridly, but that's just as likely from a 27-year-old as it is from a 52-year-old, especially since a 52-year-old may have different life obligations and life commitments that they have to keep up. So is there a difference between how entire generations think about leadership? I do believe that the younger generation does respond positively to the idea that leadership exists in individual moments more so than in titles. Because if you don't yet have titles and you don't yet have influence, there is a desire to feel like you're in control of something. And the idea of the leadership test process that I teach, or the tool that I teach, is to make sure that everybody, regardless of where they are in their career, recognizes that they are fundamentally in charge of certain things. If we all look at our lives and our careers as if it's our own business and we're the president, we start to recognize that it's essential to know what vision drives that business. And it's essential to recognize that even though you may not be in charge at your organization, you are fundamentally in charge of who you are every day. But first, we have to clarify what that means. I will tell you, though, I do not see as big a difference in leadership perception, in the perception of work, in the new world of work. I don't see it as divided up generationally the way I think some other people do, because I believe that what's important is the individual needs and desires of individuals within the organization, which you can only really find out when you surface what their values are within the organization. I talk a lot about values, but the correlation is very simple. Organizations that are driven by value-driven leaders, organizations that make decisions based on their core values, and organizations that always reference their values when they explain to their people and to the world why they make decisions, they make more money, they have better return, and they are far less likely to lose their best people.